Hello, this is my Power of Language project for climate change. So, what is climate change? Well, according to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, climate change is a long term change in the average weather pattern that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. Different gases in the atmosphere, like carbon dioxide, trap heat like the glass roof of a greenhouse. Greenhouse gases are made up of three or more atoms. These atoms are carried close enough together that they vibrate when they soak up heat, and eventually the molecules release radiation. The radiation will then likely be absorbed by another greenhouse gas molecule, keeping that heat near the Earth's surface. As more fossil fuels are being burned, increasing the gases and other air pollutants into the atmosphere, the quantity of greenhouse gases is growing. With an increase in the amount of greenhouse gases in the air, heat on its way to the atmosphere is being stopped, and the gases absorbing and radiating this heat won't leave and will end up back at Earth's surface, warming the planet. But isn't climate change natural? While high levels of carbon dioxide have been released naturally in Earth's vast history, what we're facing now is different than any warming or cooling humanity has seen in rate and in scale. Our current climate change is occurring 20 to 50 times faster than the quickest climate change events in Earth's past. Some of the world's mass extinctions have been connected to CO2. However, unlike the past, we're the ones doing the damage, not the Earth. So here is a graphic showing how greenhouse gases warm the planet. And over here we see that 57% of greenhouse gases are from fossil fuel use. Sea surface temperatures, as well as sea levels, have been increasing and are frequently greater during the past few decades than at any other time. As human activity warms our planet, the ocean soaks up 90% of the excess heat. This increases water volume and melts ice sheets and glaciers, contributing to sea level rise. Because of this, global sea level has increased approximately 8 inches over the past century, and the rate that's increasing is escalating. Since 1979, Arctic sea ice extent in September, which is when the annual minimum is reached, has declined by more than 30%, according to the National Snow and Ice Data Center. So over here is an example of global warming in 1986 and 2019. All of that ice melted in just 33 years. So can you imagine what it'll look like in another 30 or so years? Up here, this graph is showing the sea level since 1880. Global mean sea level has risen about 8 to 9 inches since 1880, with a third of that coming in just the last 2.5 decades. So, as we saw, global warming has been most distinct in the Arctic, and this is projected to continue. Now, many animals are suffering due to climate change. They have to adapt to the changing climate, which has made their habitats confining and sometimes even inhospitable. They're experiencing habitat loss due to increased greenhouse emissions, as well as an increase in water, air, solid waste pollution that spoils the food they eat. So, as a result, they're starving and dying. They're also forced to alter their breeding and feeding patterns, which is another reason why so many animals are becoming endangered. For example, polar bears and cheetahs are now considered endangered, and cheetahs are declining in population numbers according to the International Union for the Conservation of Nature Red List of Threatened Species. Here are just a few examples of endangered animals. This is what polar bears are beginning to look like, malnourished and dying. And then here is what they're supposed to look like. Now, we are not helpless. There are things normal people can do to stop climate change. For example, saving energy. Simply turning off the lights when no one's using them or opening the blinds to let sunlight through. Not only are you doing your part to stop climate change, you're saving money. Conserving water by taking shorter showers and turning off the tap when it's not in use. And finally, bringing your own reusable bags. The production of plastic bags as well as their disposal uses a large amount of energy and produces CO2 emissions. Reusable bags are not only cheap, but will last longer than a plastic bag and will hold more groceries. Here are just a few examples of reusable bags. You can find them at almost any grocery store. And here is a graphic on ways to save energy, like replacing old light bulbs with LED light bulbs. So thank you for your time. Stay healthy and remember to turn the light off before you leave the room and do not throw away your shot.